18 years ago, I attempted to get into Egypt with a film crew to go down to the Red Sea crossing site at Nueva. I was shut down. I was turned away. There was no way that they were going to let me into that parcel of ground down there. And so I then went up to a lot and attempted to hire a boat to get me in the back way. And again, I was shut down. To get over to Mount Sinai, I had schemed for years of how to be able to do this. I know that Wyatt got in there. I know Jim and Penny got in there, but I was unable to do that because there is a lot of danger involved, and this thing is so heavily guarded out there. But yet this year, Joel Richardson was able to get to Mount Sinai, and knowing the dangers, he went through the whatever was necessary to get the clearance, and then the excitement didn't stop there. Joel, take us to Mount Sinai. We want to hear about your adventure.
Sure, yeah, and for clarity, I did it legally. I got in legally, I got, the correct letter of invitation and so forth, and so it was all on the up and up. But nevertheless...
But, yeah, the adventure didn't stop there with the permit, huh?
Yeah, so in terms of, we flew into Tabuk. So Tabuk is the major, largest city that's pretty close to Mount Sinai. It's about 2.5, 3 hours drive from the airport to the location of Mount Sinai. Now, what we had been told, because there are different people that have gone up there and visited it, even recently, is that even to this day, the Saudis have essentially deputized the local Bedouins to arrest people who are trespassing. Some days, the Bedouins say, Quais, no problem, it's good. You can, have free range. Other days, they'll harass you and arrest you. So it's touch and go. You don't know what you're gonna get. So as a result of that, I didn't want to go there and get arrested the first day. I wanted to see the mountains. So the way we arranged it is we flew into Tabuk late, and then we drove all night. So the plan was we were going to get there on Friday, which is the day of prayer. So most people would be at mosque, at masjid. They wouldn't be, out and about. We thought it would be an ideal day to start. But what we thought we would do is get there an hour or two before they got up for that earliest fajr. That's the time of prayer before the sun rises, or sort of right at sunrise. That's at about 4:30. So we drove all night. I've got a little video here. You can kind of see, this is dirt road. You're talking way out in the middle of nowhere. And we're doing our best with real limited GPS, trying to find the right road. And essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up the Central Valley. This is on the eastern side of the mountain. Find a little quiet spot. Again, avoid the Bedouin police station. We're driving past all these little Bedouin camps and so forth. And we did drive right by the main police station there, which these are just these block structures, right? And see, that was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're trying to find this little dirt road off of the dirt road that we were already on. It's not easy, you know what I'm saying? It's
a
difficult.
Dirt road off the dirt road in the middle of the desert.
A path, so we had rented a couple, had a couple Toyota, I guess Land Cruisers or something. We were gonna camp for a couple hours, in other words, get a power nap, sleep for about 2 hours, get up at sunrise and start hiking. So it was, in other words, we were gonna be up all night and then hike all day. So that was gonna be taxing enough, so tried to get a couple hours. We basically overshot the path that we were trying to find. So we were essentially one valley over. So what that meant was that when we got up at sunrise, we thought, here's the mountain. This is the way mountains are. You look up, you say, here's the mountain. We hike up the mountain, takes us about an hour. We get to the top of the mountain, we go, oh, we have to go down the mountain and then up again. Okay, so we went one mountain too far. So that killed some of our water, some of our energy, some of our time. That was kind of a, Now,
I have to ask you, this other trail you were looking for, were you trying to find this by GPS? How did you know what to look for?
Yeah, we had breadcrumbs, we had GPS breadcrumbs. And again, what's such a blessing is the Caldwells. Way back when in the 90s, they made 14 visits there. They have explored that mountain more than just about anyone. And they had laid all of these GPS coordinates. And then different people who work for Aramco and in country, they have then taken these sacred coordinates and they've used them as guides, because there's been, a dozen or more people that have gone over the years, and they've done so quietly. They wanted to see it for themselves. But now you have almost like a whole little community there that has all the coordinates, and they've really expanded upon it. So they know where everything is. The problem,
that's beautiful. So they laid the foundation, and now you've got another generation that has gone in there on those same coordinates.
Yeah. I liken myself to the way that Paul describes it. He says, because all these other folks have gone, and here it is 2018, and last of all, as to one untimely born. I came along, Johnny come lately, I had the chance to see it. But it's just a blessing to sort of stand on the shoulders of all of those that have gone before. But here's what's amazing, is although much of it has been explored, there is so much yet to be explored. So when we came up over this mountain, we came down, now we're in the Central Valley that we had intended to camp at. And I've got a picture here at the beginning. So this sort of dark path cutting in at the bottom, this is the valley that we then came across. So after we came down this first mountain, this is what we were looking at.
So this is really like a wadi undercutting the base of the mountain there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and this valley basically shoots out from the east. So if you were to looking at that shoots out of the mountain from the east. The top of the mountain there that's all dark, it's a dark basalt rock, that is Mount Sinai. That's Mount Sinai. Again, about 8,000 feet tall. So as we got just to the other side of that wadi, that's all of the dark rock, just as we got to the other side of that, to the lighter granite, and this is what I want to tell you about, is dumb old Joel, just stumbling his way through, he comes up to these rocks, and there's sort of these higher little mounds of rocks, we'll say. And as I look, I see these, they're not caves, but just sort of the underside of these rocks, I see all of these paintings. I say, hey guys, there's some people are 150 yards up ahead, hey, I found some paintings. And I had assumed that the Caldwells or someone had already taken pictures of it, because they have thousands of pictures, thousands. So I start taking pictures of all of these. I'll show you a picture of it.
And
so here's
these are pictures that they never had. And, these are the first ones, ladies and gentlemen, to pay close attention, because this is the first time anyone is seeing these in real life, and this is incredible evidence right here.
Yeah, and what's interesting as well, is I'll just throw this out, is at little pockets around the mountain, I had cell service. So I was texting the Caldwells, and Penny's texting back going, oh my gosh, because we're doing live back and forth, and she said, I've never seen these. We've never seen these. We've never seen pictures of these. So we find these paintings of archers. Now these are not petroglyphs, they're not chiseled. These are painted with some type of ochre paint or something, and because they're on the underside of the rocks, they were preserved from the weather, protected from the weather.
Right.
And what do you see is you see archers. Clearly, these are archers.
Archers launching arrows.
Archers launching arrows. Here's another picture. This is just, looks like a picture of an arrow. I don't know if there was an archer that got a little bit weathered. Here's another picture of some more. They're not hunting animals. This is what's interesting. You just see all these pictures of people shooting arrows, and there was probably 30 of them. Okay, I've just shown you a few pictures here. So I texted my wife. I said, hey, check it out. Because initially I'm just thinking, well, these are probably just paintings of people hunting. But then I'm looking, I'm going, but there's no animals. They're just a whole bunch of people shooting arrows. I text my wife, and she says, oh, that's exactly like Isaiah 19. I'm sorry, that's just like Exodus 19. And I said, Exodus 19, I'm not familiar even with what you're talking about. And she goes, yeah. And so she quotes me the verse. Well, it says, the Lord says to Moses, he says, Moses, go consecrate the people. On the third day, I'm about to come down on the mountain. He says, but put up boundaries all around the base of the mountain. And he says, and this is to let them know not to step foot on the mountain. If they do, they are to either be stoned to death or shot through with arrows.
And ladies and gentlemen, here you're seeing it. This is the boundary around the base of Mount Sinai. And on that boundary, we have these images that were put there by Moses, the children of Israel, saying, if you go past this, you are, by commandment of Almighty God, you are to be shot through with arrows. If an animal goes up on this, then you shoot it through with arrows. Nobody touches this mountain.
Right. Yeah.
This is it. This is the real thing.
It's like the ancient no trespassing sign. You know, trespassers will be shot on sight.
This is beautiful. And then that morning, 3 days later, when the like the furnace from heaven comes down on that mountain, and trumpets began blowing, nobody is on that mountain. There's nobody there. No one's been able to touch that mountain or go up on it. The Almighty says, this is sanctified, and trumpets began blowing on that mountain that were so loud that rocks broke. Yeah. That is sound pressure that is beyond the threshold of pain right there. And then that's when the people were gathered at the base of that mountain to hear the voice of Almighty God shout down His commandments. This is the place that it happened, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Yeah. Wow, this is great. This is the spot of the single greatest theophany, the greatest appearing of God in all of human history. For Christians, we're aware of it. Christians are aware of the story. Again, they've seen the Cecil B. DeMille, they've kind of seen the movies and so forth, Charlton Heston, and but it's almost a little bit like a Sunday school class. It's almost like a fairy tale. It's almost flannel graph. I mean, what Cecil B. DeMille did compared to what really was there. The people were afraid they were going to die. This was so intense. They pled with Moses, please, you go up and speak to the Almighty. We are afraid we're going to die. Right. This is absolutely incredible. The fire of God, the smoke of God, the cloud, the earthquake, the trumpets, all of these things, and the voice of God, and they're begging, please. This is the thing, you could have followed Yeshua around during his ministry. And it actually says that even after he rose from the dead, he says, hey, go up to Galilee and meet me on the mountain. And it actually says, some of them doubted. Like, can you imagine you're standing there in the presence of the glorified, resurrected Son of God, Yeshua, and there was still doubt. But I guarantee you, there was none of the Israelites sitting at the base of the mountain. They were not doubting. This is it, Joel, because the Yehovah told Moses, on that day, I'm going to do something that from then on, no one will ever doubt your word again. Right. And this was such an incredible, just an incredible revelation that Israel, it wasn't just a small group, all of Israel, all of the nations that came out, the mixed multitude, they were there, right there to hear the voice of God. And no trespassing. No trespassing. And I guarantee you, shot on sight. Yeah, exactly. And I guarantee you there was many more of these. It's just that because these were on sort of the underside of the rocks, they were preserved. I guarantee you there was many, many more, but the paintings over the thousands of years, of course, wear it off. And that's the thing is, it's not a crazy thing to say there is the possibility that Moses himself painted these. That's not an impossibility. Right. So it's just one more confirmation. It's just one more confirmation that this is indeed the correct mountain. From there, we began making our way up to the cave that we believe is the cave that Elijah visited when he went to Mount Sinai. So this, again, I'm not even sure who found it. Who was the first one to find it? Did Ron Wyatt find it? No, I do not know that. I just know that Jim Caldwell took the photographs from inside the cave, looking down on the altar of the golden calf and the other artifacts that were there. Sure. So we made our way up there. Now, what we had was we did have a GPS unit. Okay, now this, again, even up to Elijah's cave, that's going to take us a while, is it not? It took us a total of 6 hours to get up there. Okay. Now, that's kind of a bad testament to us, but essentially, this GPS told us that we were real close. What it didn't tell us is that we were 500 meters longitude, latitude, but we had to go up the mountain. So we kept circling around the mountain and we were perpetually 500 meters away. Well, 500 meters away, an hour later, it was 500 meters away. Finally, we looked up and saw it. So once we got to the eastern side, we looked up and there it is, and it's a very prominent cave. So looking up, here's a picture of it. I've blacked out a couple of my friends' faces. So you can see it. It's a pretty decent sized cave. And you can see it, again, it's facing east. It's facing east, and then I've got another shot here from the inside. And the cave is about 20 feet deep.
So when you read the account, the biblical account, Elijah goes and he stays in the cave, and the floor of the cave is smooth sand. So it's a little bit sloped, but you can easily see how someone could stay and spend the night and spend some time in the cave. You could easily take a nap, but it's still a pretty good hike up there. You can see how high we are there.
And do we not see down there off in the distance and to the right, the altar of the golden calf?
Yeah, so right in front of you as you're sitting there, and in fact, I sat down there in the mouth of the cave. You can see a person here sitting down. I sat down there and I recorded a little 15-minute update, put it on YouTube. I said, hey guys, we're here in front of Elijah's cave on Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. And right behind me, you can see the altar that we believe is the golden calf altar. And then as you said—
you're going to take us there, right?
We're going to go there.
Okay.
And then as you look down, you're essentially looking right down on top of another altar that we believe is the earthen altar that Moses made out of it's uncut stone. And this is where he would have been sacrificing animals, right at the base of the mountain, exactly as the scriptures describe. And it also is right next to a stream that Deuteronomy tells us comes down the mountain. We'll talk about that some more. But you're looking right down at it, again, into that eastern valley. And there's also now a bunch of Bedouin structures and gardens, and there's a road that comes through there. I think the Saudis are about to turn that into a major road. Right now, you're talking out in the boondocks. You're talking way out in the middle of nowhere. Once they put in a major road, by faith, I believe that road is going to become like Jerusalem, and there's going to be all kinds of tour buses. There's going to be all kinds of tour buses coming soon. And so, you know, we appeal to the Saudi authorities. We say, preserve this sacred historical site of heritage. But it's, it's about to happen.
Yeah, so, well, I congratulate the Saudis on preserving the Mountain of Moses, preserving the altar to the golden calf, preserving these different things so that the rocks literally can cry out, and for preserving the paintings of the no trespassing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So from there, we said, okay, we're going to go ahead. It was 6 hours. We were almost out of water. And we said, we were going to hike to the top of the mountain. We said, forget about it. One of the guys had twisted his ankle. We looked down at the altar of Moses' altar, and we said, let's hike down to there. Let's go check that out. So that was sort of the next step in our journey. And I think in the next segment, we'll come back and talk about that.